You have the goals, the ambition, and the internal pressure to achieve them. Yet when the moment arrives, that energy stays locked in place. You default to scrolling, resting, and promising yourself that you will absolutely start tomorrow. It is easy to blame a lack of willpower or label yourself as lazy. However, your brain is actually executing a targeted sabotage campaign to keep you exactly where you are. To your mind, high ambition is a biological threat. Your brain has one primary directive: survival. Because survival requires conserving energy, your mind automatically routes you toward the options that keep you safe, quiet, and comfortable. Yielding to this survival programming has a heavy cost. You stop producing and start watching. Over time, it turns people with potential into passive consumers who observe other people living out their dreams rather than building their own. This isn't a neutral state. Every time you obey that internal voice whispering to take the easy route, you reinforce this habit loop. You are building a mental environment where doing nothing is the only path that feels natural. To move forward, you have to stop treating your internal monologue as a trusted advisor. Its default setting is to protect you by keeping you small. Progress begins when you treat your mind's survival programming as an opposing force that must be overridden. When we encounter discomfort, our baseline instinct is to turn around. Overcoming your default programming requires you to do the opposite. You walk directly into the friction. Instead of viewing pain as a warning sign to stop, look at it as an invoice. Discomfort is the currency you pay to acquire clarity, capability, and strength. You can make a tactical shift right now. The next time you think, "I don't feel like doing this," do not argue with the thought. Use that specific feeling as your trigger. It is the signal that action is now mandatory. You switch to actively hunting resistance. You lean into the wind, knowing that the friction is the mechanism of growth. By redefining discomfort as a starting signal rather than a boundary line, you neutralize your mind's primary method of control. The moment you decide to push back, your mind will launch a counterattack. It will flood you with perfectly rational-sounding excuses and overthinking to keep you in place. There is a tiny gap between knowing what you need to do and your brain finding a reason not to do it. That brief window of time is where you either act or yield. You have exactly 3 seconds to move. 3, 2, 1. Once that window closes, your brain negotiates, and the opportunity is gone. When your alarm goes off, 3, 2, 1. Feet on the floor. Staring at a difficult task? 3, 2, 1. Move. This works because physical action interrupts the internal negotiation. Your body is already in motion before your mind can finish its excuse. When you are fighting your own biology, speed of execution is the only way to bypass your mind's attempt at self-sabotage. Winning these split-second moments is the start. To change how you function over the long term, you have to maintain a daily campaign of pressure. You do not need a massive self-help routine to achieve this. You need a single, focused daily ritual of intentional hardship. This means choosing your battleground every single day, waking up before the sun, a cold shower, or speaking up when terrified. Each act of forced hardship is a strike against your reluctance. This repetition trains your brain to submit to your commands. The objective is not to wait until you feel motivated. It is to move until your brain has no choice but to follow. Amateurs wait until they feel disciplined to begin. Professionals operate regardless of how they happen to feel on any given morning. The goal of this pressure is to change who you are. You decide what kind of person you are and align your actions to match. Internal feelings stop being a factor in whether the work gets done. The version of you that negotiated for rest, that version stops getting a vote. From now on, you stop indulging the voice that asks for the easy way out. You shift your operating mode. You become someone built to handle tension and thrive when the pressure is at its highest. When you commit to the hard things daily, resistance stops being a barrier. It becomes the evidence of your progress.